online.
Okay. Yeah. We're live right now. No?
Yeah, let's turn that.
Yeah. Can I see? Live. We're going live right now.
Just give us a little less time.
Yeah, we're going live.
There we go. That should work.
Great.
Cool. I
Great.
think that's it.
Yeah. Never done this before.
Now we're gonna get an echo, huh? Yeah, we're definitely gonna get an echo.
Okay.
Well, that's good. So,
Okay. Great.
introductions.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shelby Jensen. I'm part of Utah Adaptive Alliance, who's putting this on. I'm also part of Team USA for Parafencing, and I'm hoping to go to the Paralympics in Tokyo 2021.
So, if you can't hear me, just let me know and I'll do one of these. I'm Brandon Smith. Just lending a hand here wherever I can and trying to help her out, get where she needs to get, and see if we can help build the sport up a little bit bigger.
Great. Okay.
So, yeah.
First, we're gonna go over dress and uniform. So I have shorts under these. So you have to wear white socks and then white pants called knickers, and then you also have an underarm protector, and then if you're a woman, you have to wear a breastplate so you don't get hurt. I've been there before.
You can wear a breastplate as a male as well. That's up to you, but females are required to have a breastplate. Males is optional.
And then this is the white jacket, and this is for épée. We'll explain that later. And then let's see.
So, you're required as part of USA fencing and FIE rules. You're to have socks that cover your knees and your knickers go over your socks. You don't want skin showing as a safety issue. Same with this underarm protector. This is also part of safety so that if a weapon were to break, it won't pierce through your weapon arm underneath into your lungs potentially. So the way you generally put these on, the weapons all have a body cord. And what we usually do is just hold it like this, and we'll hold on to the body cord, go through the arm, and now it's here hanging. Then you go ahead and put on the rest of the jacket, zip it up, and you're almost ready for action. Because the next part is your gloves. And there is 3 different weapons, and they all have different rules and target area, and 2 of them, yes, have different gloves. So she'll show you a saber one.
This is a saber. Those stamps are from all the places I've been, so ignore them. But yeah, see how it has this fabric? That fabric is conductive, so if the cord's hooked to the weapon and it hits you, then it lights up and the person gets a point.
Part of the target.
Yeah. And then an épée, it's just...
And foil.
And foil, of course. And it's just white and...
Just a regular glove.
Just like your jacket.
And then most important is your mask. So each weapon has its own mask at this point in the game. FA, everything is target, so your mask is also target. And anywhere you hit, the light will go off. Saber, also the entire head is target, so anywhere you hit on that also will go off and is also conductive.
If you notice, it's got the same material as the glove, so it's electrified when you hook up.
Foil masks are only conductive on this lower part of the bib, right down here. So that's the only thing on that foil that can hit that will register as an on-target hit. So we need to go over weapons?
Yes.
So as far as weapons go, each having their own rules, target area, and almost style. Let's go over foil first.
He knows more about foil, so he's going to explain that. Foil's
So-
not my favorite weapon, unfortunately.
This is a foil. It's one of the lightest weapons. It's super fun. Every single weapon is really fun. They all have their own challenges and their own targeting and way you go about it. Foil is basically your target area is just your torso. So everything that this little vest covers is just your chest, back, and part of your neck. That's the only thing that counts as target. So you have a smaller target area. And as far as foil goes, there's a thing called right-of-way, which also Saber has, which means that if you start, for me to get a touch, a proper one, I have to start my attack and finish before they start their attack. Like if I'm sitting here getting ready for an attack, and I start slowly moving forward, and I pause, and then they hit me, and then I hit them, it's going to be their touch. It's a little bit complicated. It takes a while to kind of get that. But it's essentially like you take turns. If I try to hit you and I miss, it's your turn to try to hit me. And you can also steal each other's turn. So if I try to hit and they hit my blade and then hit me, that's going to become their touch and their right of way. You can also counterattack. So if I'm getting ready to attack or trying to get you, they can come in and hit me and dodge my attack, essentially. Yeah, that's foil in a nutshell. The next one would be Saber. And this is also a very light weapon. It's one of the fastest weapons as far as the tip goes. And it's super fun, very fast, explosive, quick. And target area is basically everything from your waistline up. Arms, face, not the hand tips, but the cuff on the hand right here counts.
Yeah, like on the glove I just showed you guys.
Yeah. So this is a lame for a Saber. So you can see everything that's shiny is all target.
It's conductive, so like I said with the mask and glove, when you hook up, it becomes electrified. It doesn't shock you unless you're wet.
Yeah, if you get really sweaty, then you'll start to feel when the light or the buzzer sounds, you can feel kind of a little shock in your wrist or something sometimes. Not that big of a deal.
No.
Also, this is Saber. With Saber, it's also right of way. So generally, the first to go and attack and finish generally gets a touch. You can also parry, riposte to get right of way. We'll go over that in a little bit.
And something we forgot to mention is foil and Saber both have mask cords. So it's this little cord that goes from the tab on your jacket in the back to hook to your mask. Just
that way everything's connected.
Okay.
And
so this goes from your jacket to your mask, so it's conductive.
And that all hooks up to that body cord that you first put on. and then that hooks up to the box and the reels, which then turns the light on to whoever got touched or off target. Next is epee. Epee is probably
the most. I love epee because it basically doesn't have any rules, and no rules is the perfect teenager sword.
It's got rules,
Yeah.
but it's more about who can hit the other one first.
Yes.
So and everything is target from your waist up. In parafencing, everything from the waist up is target, and everything counts. There's different grips for these weapons. This is a French grip. It's kind of your classical way to hold a sword. They also have a pistol grip, which is more the modern, new style of holding it. It gives you a little bit more power and control. This takes a little bit more time to figure out and understand. This is a little bit more natural, but they both take a lot of time to really perfect your tip, because if a lot of this game is all tip. Having that control of your tip will get you the point. You know, having a crazy tip and doing all this stuff you think as kids where you're like whacking each other with sticks, not really fencing. You want to go for the target. And this here is your
skirt.
Yeah, so with epee and parafencing, this skirt is off target, and that's grounded. So if I touch this with my sword, it will not show a light. So with foil and epee, there is a little tip here on these blades, and there's a little spring that depresses inside and makes a contact. So this is a foil spring right here. And that's,
I don't know if you can hear that, but like.
Yeah, that takes 300 grams approximately to set this off. And this takes 500 grams to set this off. So you gotta push this one a little bit harder to get a light on with the epee. And if you look through, there's a little channel cut out into this. There's a little wire inside. And that little wire goes to here, which is where the body cord connects, and then goes into your sleeve, and then into the reel on the back. Yeah, that's pretty much
Everything.
weapons
In a
bar.
nutshell.
Yeah, just a quick one. There's more stuff you'll learn, but this is kind of a beginner class, so we're not gonna get too deep into everything and get too crazy, because it takes years to master this. This is not an overnight kind of a sport.
Positions.
So yeah, let's go over some positions.
Okay.
Well, I'm guessing everybody's working with pool noodles at this time, so we will work with something similar. I just have some insulation foam for pipes and plumbing, and
So we'll explain the whole chair, the platform thing after we do the positions.
so well, everything is in position here. So with fencing, when you get into if you're with an opponent, the first thing you want to know or you want to do is salute your opponent. So when you come up to the piece, you salute each other. If there's a referee, you salute the referee. And if there's a crowd, salute the crowd. And then you're ready to go. And if you have weapons, you want a mask. But at this point, we're beginners, so we're just going to show you with these foam things. Not real big deal. Should be okay. So
the positions. So my coach, Mickey, the head coach of the national team, he explained it to me as you're holding up 5 fingers. The thumb is number 1. So number 5 is full back. Number 4, the pointer finger, it's half back. Number 3 is on guard, where you start when you fence. Number 2 is half lunge or half forward. And number 1 is full lunge.
That's one way for sure, and that's a really good method to kind of get your drills and everything else. That way, everybody's on the same page. Let's see. So let's go with weapons first. So let's say you're on guard and the referee. You want me to just do kind of each weapon, kind of what it looks like?
Sure.
So with foil, yeah. So let's do a little thing with foil. Let's say you're gonna have right of way, and you're gonna hit me, and I will then hit you, and we'll show what right of way looks like. So it'd be on guard, ready, fence. She's gonna try to hit. I'm gonna try to hit. If she hits me, that's her touch. So you can actually hit me. Okay.
So
yeah. And I go late. That's her touch every single time. As long as she hits me, that's her touch. Now, if she tries to hit me and I pull back and she misses, and then I hit her, that's my touch all day. The only other way I can get this is if I hit her blade and then hit her. So if she attacks me and I go parry and then I riposte, now that's my touch.
And saber is basically the same thing.
Saber's the same thing, but saber is more like
explosive.
Yeah, so
faster.
With foil you start like this.
And saber.
With saber you start like this. And saber looks more like this. Do you want to go full speed saber?
Sure.
All right, so check this out. So this is what full speed saber would look like. On guard, ready, fence. Something like that. It's a little faster. Foil and epee, you're guarding, you're looking for that distance. You're playing around a little bit more. You're trying to set stuff up. Saber's that quick, explosive. Yeah, so that would have been hers. That was parry riposte. That's her touch. Let's see. So let's do epee. Epee. Let's go right to epee. Epee is like everything counts. So generally with epee, I like to say your first target is your closest target, which is the hand. So if you can hit their hand, and you can't hit, that's a great point. And then if you miss the hand, go for the forearm. If not the forearm, go for the shoulder, and then the head, neck, torso. Kind of in that order. That way, because epee can be kind of drawn out sometimes. It all depends on your style.
Super fast.
Yeah. Pretty much every single weapon in wheelchair is much faster than stand-up. Like I don't think I've ever seen a bout go like the full distance in parafencing. It's pretty fast and it's pretty awesome.
I haven't actually fenced able-bodied, so he knows what he's talking about. And I've seen them fence like epee, saber, and foil because you can move up and down the strip. So it takes longer because you can actually get some distance from your opponent, and they have to come to you. But in wheelchair, you're stuck in one place.
Yeah. You can't run from this fight.
No.
The most you can do is this is as far as you can run away, and I can still kind of reach you a little bit or coax you into getting there.
Yeah.
Wheelchair is a lot faster. It's explosive. It's pretty awesome to watch, but it's even better to try it and be in it.
Yeah, if you're interested, just hit me up on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever. We'll go over all that stuff towards the end.
Let's see. Yeah, so in epee, when you start with epee, you generally start kind of a little bit lower. It all depends on the referees.
Crossing the weapons.
Yeah, so you kind of want to cross your weapons, and you're about here. And yeah, like we said, it's hand, arm, body, up. And usually most of the time you're going to want your thumb to be on top of the weapon. Whatever weapon you're going to play with, you want your thumb to finish on top. There is times your thumb will be turned or on either side, depending on what part of the body you're hitting, but that will control your tip. So having good tip control is going to come down to these two fingers, your thumb and your index. And if you, for some reason, you don't have full control of your thumb and index, and you have more of a wrist action, then having that finite control with your wrists is then going to control where your tip is. So your tip control is very, very important with this sport. Now, if you're going really big and wide like this, she's gonna hit, like, if I try to hit her like this, she's gonna get a counterattack. Because by the time I come and hit her, my tip is not gonna get that light. Because there's a timer on the light and on the box that will time me out. So if she can counterattack and get away, then she's gonna get that touch, or he's gonna get that touch, or whoever you're fencing. So you want to be quick and you want to be precise. You don't want to be big and sloppy and, oh, I'm coming in, I'm here. It's just like boxing. You don't want to wind up for a punch and go. You want to be here and finish. Here, finish, quickly.
Unless you're quick on the big moves, but that takes some.
Yeah, it's something you don't want to learn
No.
at the beginning. That comes later with your style.
Yeah,
as you build your style.
It does. Okay.
Let's look at our wheelchairs.
Okay.
So there is regulations to your wheelchair.
This is my official competition wheelchair, and the official competition platforms. Wheel was coming out.
Yeah, let's have you talk about this, and I'll move this down a little bit so we can kind of see this.
Great. Oh,
Oops,
sorry. So this is the wheelchair. So the back is the lowest it can be. I don't really know.
There is measurements and regulations to the size and the dimensions of the chair that you have to follow for it to be legal.
When you go internationally, it has to have the wheel covers that say your country's name on it, and it has to have wheels, of course, for the clamps to hook on. It has to have, well, it doesn't have to have a bar, but for you to grab on and lunge.
Or be connected to somehow.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. There's specific like Brandon said, there's specific regulations for everything. So I would just ask me, or
you can look them up.
Yeah, you can look them up and see what they are and how you can modify. I actually know a few people who actually built their chairs from scratch, and they work terrific. They haven't broken as much as mine, but yeah. So that's basically, it's pretty simple.
And you can use your regular chair as well. Yeah. Most chairs are a little lower, so you have sort of a height disadvantage if you use a normal chair because they tend to be at a lower position. Internationally,
you have to use a competition chair, but that's all to regulation, all to rules, specs. But in national competitions, you can use your daily chair.
And then for this one, this is a coaching chair that was developed essentially by
one of my dad's friends.
Yeah, so this is what we've been using. We got a couple of these, and they're all adjustable. They can go left or right-handed, and they're super easy, very simple, and yeah, they've been great. They're great for teaching and just showing kind of people exactly what you need and where you need to be at position-wise, and then go from there. So that pretty much takes care of that for the most part. These platforms also move. So where you're sitting, your distance. So each weapon has its distance where you start, and there's a crank right here that will put these platforms closer together or farther apart depending on the arm distance of each person. So if we were to do foil
and saber.
Foil, you're supposed to sit up straight in your chair as much as you can.
And then just pretend I'm sitting in my chair straight. So then I would come in to the inner side of his elbow.
Right here. So then that would be our distance.
That's for saber.
Yeah, and as long as mine's the same, that's about, but say if I have a shorter arm, then I get to pick that distance. So if I have to move closer, and I'm only here, and then we move closer and I'm here, then I can say, okay, I want to be here, or oh, she's really close. Maybe I want to be back here.
And then
Saber distance.
no, saber is the same.
Okay, so saber is the same as foil. And now epee is the outside of the arm. So she's
we're
there.
fine right here. Well, maybe a little in, but yeah, we're practically fine.
Yeah,
right
for epee, that's about where it would be. So that kind of covers that stuff. So let's see. So when we talk about competitions, USA versus FIE International.
Sure. So, the national competitions, like I said, you can fence out of your wheelchair, and you can basically do anything that you can't do internationally. You don't have to have. Do you have to have your name on the back for nationals?
I believe you do.
Okay.
I think everybody has to. If you're at a national competition, you have to have your name on the back. If you're at a local event, you don't have to have your name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
But at a national event, yes, you do have to have your name on your.
You don't have to have the USA on the side.
No, that's
for international.
Yeah, and then with if you're international, your gear has to have an FIE stamp.
Oh, yeah.
So if your blades have to be FIE, your clothing has to be FIE, because there's a certain standard for FIE versus non-FIE equipment. So if it has that label there, you're good to go internationally. If you don't have that, then you can only use that stuff here locally in the United States at your local competitions or at a national event. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, there's different stuff. They have team events and individual events, and that's pretty much it. So you can fence just as high as you can go, and that's your day, or you can fence with the whole team of people and see how far your team can get in the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes 2 days, depending on how many people are there.
Generally, for wheelchair, it only takes a day.
Per event.
Per event. And for the Paralympics, I think it takes 2 days to do team events. There's so many of them.
So let's go over. Let's do some fencing sort of stuff. Let's go over some home exercises.
Do you want to go over categories?
Of what? Oh yeah, that's a good.
Okay.
There you go.
So basically, there's three categories. A and B fence are allowed in the Paralympics. C, you can't classify as a C because there's so few C's. And then if you fence, so if you're C and fence as a B and make it, then you can fence in the Paralympics. That's just what I was told.
So what is a C exactly?
So a C is the lowest classification. It's basically quadriplegic. So if you can't move your hands as well, or your core as well, then you're a C. A B is basically a spinal injury, where you can't walk, you don't have as much core, but you have some core. And then an A, I'm an A, is where you can walk, basically like amputees and
You have core, you have control.
CP people that are affected by one side. You have full trunk control, or at least have partial trunk control.
Sorry about the sound. If you hear that somebody's drinking, the dog.
That's my 2 dogs. So basically that's it.
Yeah.
It's really simple. If you have any more questions, like I said, feel free to DM me. And
it will become it's a doctor that will basically it's like how many doctors are there?
I think 3.
Yeah, so they will go over a whole series of tests and to see exactly what you are, and then they will classify you.
The most common one is going down, and if you can sit up without any help or without putting your hands to push you up, you're an A.
Most
So
times, but yeah, that all comes down to the doctors and what their whole battery of tests and exams and all that stuff goes through. So that's up to the doctors. But yeah, there is different categories. So not everybody's, if you're in a chair, you're there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to be in a chair to fence in parafencing. You could just be like, I lost my arm, or my hand's gone, or my ankles got busted up in an accident and I can't walk on a strip, or I have trouble on a strip or something.
That's for nationally.
Yeah, so then that's that. Now you can go into it, parafencing essentially. So that's kind of covers that. Do you want to go into exercises and workouts, drills, hand-eye coordination stuff? So let's get to the fun stuff.
He's my coach, and
here locally.
Yeah, locally. And then
I got my passport, so working on it.
And then he teaches me all this stuff he's going to teach you guys.
So, let's see. Let's go over some pretty basic stuff right now until we kind of get to meet everybody and see where we're at and stuff. So, if you're at home and you're in a chair,
you can grab the wheel.
Yeah, you can grab onto your wheel, onto your.
Or if you don't have a chair, you can do it on the couch. You can do it from a chair in front of like a pillow or even the arm of the couch.
There's a ton
I've been told.
Yeah, and there's a ton of great videos online on YouTube and stuff on exercises to build your core and your arm strength as a parafencer. So don't be afraid to look at those, check them out, try them out. If you need to talk to your doctor about it, definitely do that and kind of see where you're at. This sport, especially in sit down, having core strength or having that ability to get in and get out is really important. And having tip control is probably almost the most important thing of getting away. Because you can be slow up here, but if your tip control is on point, then you're still going to have that advantage. So. Also, one other important thing, in fencing, you cannot show the back of your head.
I've done that one too many times.
So if, say, you're fencing and you both think you hit each other, and I turn to look at the box,
and then I hit him in the back of the head,
I'm gonna get penalized for that. You can't show the back of your head at all. Like, you don't want to, if you show the back of your head, that's a big no-no, because if I were to turn, if I was like, yes, like this,
and then I had a real blade in, and then she could actually break the skin.
Yeah, she could potentially hurt me, kill me, maim me, whatever. But
don't like be afraid of that, because it rarely happens.
Yeah, super rare, highly unlikely. This is still one of the safest sports in the world. You can't duck as well. You can't show you can't show the back of your head, and you don't want to hit your blade against the ground. Like, if you're angry, upset, you don't want to start hitting stuff. You'll be called for that as well, because it's unsportsmanlike, and you can damage the strip and the materials, because these are not cheap. So you want to just go over some kind of drills that you've been working on?
That I've been working on?
Let's go over like some body movement.
Body movement. So, do you remember what I said about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 is back, 4 is half back, 3 is on guard, where you start before you actually fence. 3 is, not 3. I just went over 3. 2 is half forward, and 1 is full lunge. So what my coach does and what he does and what I do before practice, during practice, after practice, as a cool down, workout, or warm up, is just say 4 numbers, like 5, 3, 4, 1. It always has to end with a 1, because of course you want to lunge at the end of it. So let's see, 5, 3, 4, 1. 5, 3, 4, and 1. So
some basic movements to this. Those are really good, and as you're doing those, you want to breathe. Like, one of the most important things is to keep breathing, because if you hold your breath or you clench your teeth, that makes you really rigid, and that's not going to give you that finesse. The sport has really got a lot of finesse to it. So you want to keep breathing. If you do yoga or understand some of that breathing techniques, that will take you a long way in this sport. It helps your healing. It controls your breathing, your mind, your body, and that's vital when it comes down to your point control and your actions. And essentially, you're fighting another person's mind, and you're using your body to do that. Because you're either trying to fake them out to get them to do something you want to hit them, or you're just trying to be like, oh, I'm just coming in here and up. Oh, I give up. Just keep breathing all the time. Keep working out. Keep making it make it your daily thing to breathe. And there's a lot of great videos online as well for just working out and breathing techniques. Let's see. So let's just go with the basic. No, let's just go with just a simple attack. Oh yeah. So let's go with this. Let's go with the basic attack.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna try to hit her, we'll just go hit each other back and forth. So I'd point my weapon and find my target, and then I'd try to hit. And then it'd basically be her turn. Drops your tip, comes in, hits. Drop my tip, I come in, hit. See, so tip is coming in, I lunge, I recover, and on guard.
You never want to go body first and then arm.
Because you're showing it's like pulling your arm and then coming in for the attack.
They can really read you. It's more of a mental game. You can be physically fit and everything, but it's more of a mental game.
You want your tip to lead your action. Your tip, you follow behind your tip. Your tip leads, and you finish. And then when you come back, you want to keep that tip out just for a second, just here, there, because if you miss, and then they come to attack you, and you leave that out a little bit, they can run into your tip for you. So it's just good practice to have this muscle memory come back and then on guard again, depending on which weapon you're playing with. That's a really good exercise. So if you're at home and you don't have all this fancy equipment, you can always just set up a chair and put a target up and just go and just take your little foamy thing or a stick or whatever you got and just hit the ball or touch a target. If you have a doorknob, just hit your target. Go point at the target, see if you can hit it.
Or for point control, you go up to a doorknob. This is what I did when I was younger, or any object that's small, and just trace around it with these two fingers, just to work on that finger string and point control.
Yeah, those are also really good. So let's go with the parry post now.
Okay.
So a parry post would be I'm coming in, she parries, and then finishes. So a good parry, so your turn. So a good parry would be just to go, you don't want to crank down on it. You just want to move their blade out just enough to get right of way or get them to avoid hitting you. Hi, dog. So she's coming in to attack me. I don't want to hold her blade down. That's a different action. I just want to get her blade out of the way. So say she's going to try to hit my shoulder right here. I'm going to parry her just enough to get my point on her shoulder. That way I'm doing less work. She's coming at me. And same thing, if I go to her, and that's essentially exactly what would happen, is that my speed of me going into her, all she has to do is get that blade out a little bit, and I'm going to miss. So that's a parry post. And you can practice that at home with, you can hang an object like a tennis ball. You can drill through a golf ball or a tennis ball, hang a string on it, and you can hit it, get it to swing, and then hit it again. You can have an object here, like a chair or something. It could be like the edge of a chair, and then an object here, and you can just hit it and then hit it, and see if you can knock it off or move it around.
Or just a cup on a table, with a ping pong ball or golf ball on top. You just try to knock it off as quickly or as slowly as you want.
And strings and balls are great, especially if you're in a chair and you're home alone or something, and you don't want to fall out of your chair and go grab something you just knocked around. So say like I have this little headband thing that I'll put on my head and test it or punch it. This works as well if you want to just throw it in the air and catch it. So you can just go here and see it didn't go anywhere. I got it right here. So you can throw it up and lunge. You can do it. If I adjust it, I can have a longer string. But essentially, you could just go here and catch it in the air. Here, catch it in the air. And you want to try to finish with your thumb on top. Here, catch it. Here, catch it. Or
you can bounce the tennis ball on the ground, and then when it goes up and then comes down, you catch it.
Exactly. You can also put these on your head. These just help for hand-eye coordination stuff. So then this way it doesn't go anywhere. You can just essentially fencing is just a series of jabbing, because you can't use your back arm. It's only your weapon hand. So this hand you can't block with it. It has to stay out of the way. It's there to pull you back if you have that control.
Physically, it's similar to boxing in a way, because there's lots of jabbing, and then mentally it's similar to chess, because you have to predict your opponent's next moves to combat that and get the touch.
Yeah, so these are really fun. They're super cheap. They're good hand-eye coordination. You don't have to hit it hard. It's very light, and if it hits you in the face, not going to hurt. All good.
Yeah.
Great tool. I love these. I give them to all the students. Let's go over. Let's do a press. Want to do a press test? Too advanced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would just go over it.
How about different parries?
Oh yeah, we go over different parries when we went over the blades. So parry 3 is basically your on guard position. They call it on guard parry 3, or parry 6 is in foil and FA, but parry 3 is in saber. Is back here, and then parry 4, and then parry 4 is forward over your knee. And that's the same in all 3 weapons. And then FA and foil don't have a parry 5.
I mean, they do, but it's super rare.
Yeah.
It's a rare action to have.
Yeah. Only in able-bodied they do it more than wheelchair. For saber, parry 5 is if they're coming straight to your mouth.
So if I'm coming at her in the head, she could block.
And then whack him, or when I'm right here, I can just hit him on the chest. And then parry 3, he's coming for my parry 3. Oh, well. So I'm right here, he's coming, and then hit. Yeah,
so she just, if I'm fencing you on the camera, I just push you out here and then go then. Same as if I go 4, I push your blade on this side and then attack you on that side.
So then 4 is this and that. Hit on the outside, and 3, hit on the inside, and then 5, and then hit, or you can go under.
And 7.
7, oh gosh, okay. And
then I come in here.
7, like that, and then up, like that.
That's some of those low liners, because they like to hit you right at the edge of the waist. Yeah, they come up low. They try to hide their weapon and sneak in there. They're usually a little bit easier to defeat. So it's good practice to build this muscle memory to have your target up here and going for this area here generally. And then last, if they do try to get away, so say if you try to get away, my only target then becomes just her waistline. So she's really good at getting away like that. This is really not the size of a weapon. I'm slightly short, as you can see. So yeah, that's about a foot. But your last target is her waistline if she's leaning far away. But that's where that lens is going to come into play. So if you can do those are really good. Just to start kind of building that muscle memory and start building up your game a little bit. Because right now most of the clubs are kind of shut down still, so it's tough to get out there and really
try to do it and
and feel it.
I just train at home with my coach via Zoom almost every day, and that's how I train. I sometimes train with my teammates on Zoom, but
you also have a dummy.
Yeah, I have a dummy to hit, and I do foam rolling and resistance bands mostly. But yeah, that's pretty much.
That's actually a really good one we should go over too. You have it, okay? So
yeah. I have another resistance band.
Yeah, I just showed this one.
Okay. So I have a yellow resistance band, right here. It's hooked, well, not really hooked, it's just around the bar of the chair. And to warm up, I basically put it around me, put it behind me, and grab onto it. That way it's on the outer side of my arm. And you just basically do, I never count how
just
many.
Remember to keep your thumb on top.
I just do this. Just extend my arm, and then sometimes when I'm feeling really adventurous, I lunge with them. And if I'm feeling really strong that day, I go to a stronger resistance band.
Yeah, those are great tools. Also really cheap, pretty available at this point. You can get them online or your local store if you want to go out.
Yeah, like Big Five for most.
Yeah, any sports store will pretty much carry some kind of bands.
Yeah.
They don't have to be that with the handle. They can just have like a loop, or you can tie a loop in them.
Yeah.
They can be the flat bands, the round ones, whatever you can find.
Yeah, like if you go to a therapist, you can ask for like a 2 foot, 3 foot one.
They got big rolls of them.
So
also, great stuff to work with. What's our time look like?
We got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Do you want me to go over all the info if they want to get in contact? Or?
Yeah, I wonder if we should do more stuff or wait till next time and go more in depth.
Let's just wait till next time. Next time.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. So if you're interested in it, just feel free to PM me or on Instagram. On social media, or if you have my number, you can always ask Utah Adaptive Alliance for my number to text me. And I also have a fencing page that you can message me on, a personal page that you can message me on Facebook, and I also have an Instagram and a Twitter. But yeah, and if you're out of state and want to get more in contact, more in depth and like connected to try this out, I can connect you to the right people. So don't be afraid to message me. So that's basically all that I have to say. Yeah.
This is a great sport. It's super fun. There's some cost at the beginning. But once you're there, you're going to be good. And most clubs will let you borrow whatever you need.
So if you're in Utah and want to come try it after this whole thing is over.
Or we get to a point.
Yeah. And we get to a point.
But when we get to a point, we'll get there.
Yeah. You can come to Utah Fencing Foundation. It's down on Main Street and 39th. And they also have a web page, a Facebook page, a web page, and a Instagram. And it's a nonprofit foundation, so you'll get to try it for free. You'll get
you're all fully taken care of.
Yeah.
So the other thing is that everybody's different in parafencing. So whatever your issue is, or issues, we can figure it out. So if that's your question, I'm like, well, I'm not sure I can hold the sword, or is there any modifications for this or that? Yeah,
Velcro.
Get a hold of her, and we can specifically go over certain things to help you out of whatever you need to make it work for you.
I've seen a lot of modifications and I've heard a lot of things that I thought were impossible, but they are possible. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
If you think you can't do it, just reach out to us, and you most likely can. You
might not be like going to the Olympics in a year. But man, it is a blast.
Recreationally even.
Yeah, this is super fun, and it gets your brain working. It gets you, gets you sweat.
It's like chess.
Yeah, so. It's physical, fast-moving chess. You got to think fast, act fast, and what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get poked a little bit.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Exactly.
It's like paintballs, but cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a blast. Give it a try. We'll come back and we'll go more into depth on the finite stuff. And get that rolled out to you on the next. So
great.
Yeah, whenever you decide.
Yeah. I'll discuss with Utah Adaptive Alliance on the next showing of this.
Yeah, check out videos.
Sure.
There's a lot of different stuff. And there's a lot of basic fencing stuff too that will show you, those exact things. And this is a real simple one to get. Just a piece of foam
and some duct tape.
Yeah, you can make a smaller handle. Make it work for you. As long as you have something that's kind of reach out that's approximately the length of a sword, you can use that to move stuff around.
3 feet.
Yeah, it's about 3 feet.
Yeah, 3 feet, 2.5.
1 meter.
Yeah.
And there's other. You can even order a sword if you want, but if you do that, you should probably order a mask as well.
Yeah.
There's sizing stuff you gotta look at.
The starter kit is really good from Absolute Fencing. It costs at most $70 for everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and finger strength will come into play. So if you do get a weapon, you can do little exercises at home with your fingers where you're lifting up stuff like this, and then slowly controlling it to bring that back down. And that will help, because I guarantee your hand's going to be hurting after your first lesson. Like, it doesn't hurt for long, but you're like, that's really sore. Those are muscles I never used like that. But after like a week or two of doing it, you're like, oh yeah, I can hold this weapon all day. This is no problem. So, we'll go into more depth later.
I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. And, don't be afraid to reach out. Or reach out to Brandon, reach out to me, reach out to Utah Fencing, reach out to Utah Adaptive Alliance, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And just let us know what we can do to help you.
Cool.
Great.
Ciao.
Well, thank you for watching. Bye.